Welcome to our podcast, Inspiring Living, with me, Mark Candelaria. I am an architect, blogger, traveler, chef, father, and husband. I am the founder and now partner of a fabulous 20-person architecture firm specializing in high-end residential architecture, designing amazing homes across the country. We have hosted tours over the last 20 years to Italy, Spain, and soon Napa. And in the course of all this, I have met a lot of interesting people who truly inspire me. We are excited to now be in our second season, and our podcast is about all the opportunities that are right there in front of us to inspire living. Yes, we will talk about architecture and design, but every week we will venture to all sorts of topics that will inspire you, teach you, and motivate you to inspire living every day. My guests will include a wide gamut of amazing people, from those in the design industry to clients to real estate professionals, chefs, artists, sports figures, and philanthropists, and people who just flat out get it. So sit back and enjoy, and let's have some fun exploring all the opportunities that are there just waiting for us. Please subscribe and get ready to be inspired every week. Okay, as my dad says, here we go. Because Inspiring Living is all about the people and the organizations that inspire us, we are excited to have Monogram Appliances as one of our sponsors. Anytime we do a new kitchen or a kitchen remodel, Monogram Appliances are what we recommend to our client. Their appliances are the definition of luxury, meticulously detailed using the finest materials and an ownership experience that is second to none. This is how Monogram is always thinking ahead and inspiring and elevating the kitchen experience. Because at Monogram, they don't just elevate one thing, they elevate everything. Welcome, everyone, and thanks again for listening to our podcast, Inspiring Living. Welcome to Season 2, and today I have a very fun podcast from my trip last week to one of my favorite spots, Alene, Idaho. While in Alene, I always make it a point to stop in and grab dinner at a special place, Angelo's, and I was fortunate enough to connect with owner and chef Angelo Brunson to catch up and talk about his life, career, and good times in northern Idaho, from winemaking to politics. Stay tuned for this one. We are now zooming through October, and our Candelaria design team is now in week 30 of working from home. We did some cooking for our Pine Canyon clients up in Flagstaff this past weekend as we christened their new Candelaria design Earth and Images Mountain Contemporary Home, built by builder John Holdsworth. More to come on this one. Such a cool place. I can't wait to show you the pictures that photographer Julianne Palmer took this last week. They are fantastic. We also have a stunning Candelaria design Mediterranean home in this month's Luxe magazine, with interiors by Mara Green, landscape by Refined Gardens, and all masterfully built by Argue Custom Homes. Then catch my Modern Man feature in this month's Scottsdale Modern Luxury magazine with a fun photo shot by my last podcast guest, photographer Carrie Evans. Okay, make sure you tune in this coming Sunday, October 11th at noon, as we will have Master Chef Eddie Matney in our Candelaria Design Monogram kitchen, and he will be preparing some fabulous appetizers, and we will celebrate my 60th birthday in Candelaria Matney style. So tune in and catch us on our Candelaria Design Instagram Live at noon this Sunday. Not my personal Instagram, the Candelaria Design Instagram, okay? All right, we have started our virtual Candelaria Design Tour Italy, and I'm trying to keep up. I'm a little bit behind, but the response from my past travelers have been fantastic, as I am doing my best to send out an email reflecting back on past tours from each day of what would have been our 2020 tour. So it's fun to go back and look back at the old photos. I'm going to be digging up some photos and videos from the first 10 trips from the early 2000s, I guess I should say. It's just great to go back and revisit some of the stories, and as I look at the photos, I go, oh yeah, I remember that happened. So I'm going back and sharing some of these stories, but it's hard to keep up given all the work we've got right now. So I'm just going to issue them as I go, and if you want to check it out, send me an email. I'll get you on the list, okay? Okay, I want to give a big thank you to all of you who have been listening to our podcast, as our listeners keep growing nicely. We had another amazing month of downloads last month, so thank you very much. Thank you also for the ratings and reviews. I really appreciate those, and here's the deal. The first review we get dated October 6th or later will receive a free Candelaria Collection pasta maker, so give us some love on those ratings and reviews. We had a winner last week, so make sure to also send us an email telling us about your review so we can send you that pasta maker. We do our best to inspire living in everything we do, from our podcast to our cooking classes to our tours, and of course, with our Candelaria design homes. Okay, have a great week, everyone. Stay safe, and let's all live our lives with love, compassion, grace, and positivity. Okay, here we go. Well, I've been up here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, in this beautiful area that I absolutely love. I've been here this whole week visiting my daughter, who's been working at Gaza Ranch of all summer. And I know a lot of you in the Phoenix Scottsdale audience love this place and have been to Gaza. I visited this area in 1999 and then bought a home here in 2004 and lived here in the summers and sometimes in the winters for nearly 10 years. I love this area and I still return quite often. When I do come here, I always make it a point to visit one of my favorite restaurants owned and operated by my good friend Angelo Brunson of course, Angelo's. We are here in his restaurant today. It's a Monday. It's quiet. It's closed. I'm sitting right across from the table. I had dinner at Friday, and I've got the man right here, Mr. Angelo. Welcome.
Ciao, grazie.
Ciao, grazie. So Monday, it's a quiet day for you, right? As is Sunday. Sunday's the Sabbath. You take that day and you spend it with family, golfing on the boat I saw yesterday. It's all pretty good, right?
Excellent. Got to have some time off.
Yeah. Well, we had a great dinner here Friday night. I mean, you came and joined us at our table, and I think your daughter was our waitress.
Philomena.
Yes. Yeah. And I didn't see Julie. I know she was here, but I missed her. So send my love to her because she's a special lady.
Here.
She was here. I just didn't see her for some reason. I was preoccupied with all the good food and the good vino that you were serving me. So, which happens. That just happens when I come here. So we've had some great dinners here. I remember one year I brought all of the clients I've designed homes for here in the Coeur d'Alene area. And we had a fabulous dinner that we recorded and actually played on our sketch video. And that was a special night because it was over 12 years of doing homes here. And I had them all together in one spectacular evening. So that was,
I remember that.
That was a lot of fun. Back in that back room.
That was
over
awesome.
There. It was a lot of fun. So tell us about Coeur d'Alene. Tell us about, where are you from originally?
Well, I'm from the Seattle area, Puget Sound. Grew up by the SeaTac Airport, Des Moines, South Seattle, and I lived there for 20-some years, and then moved up north to Marysville and started my first Angelo's in 1994 to 1998, and had a piano bar 7 nights a week. And
how old were you when this all took place?
I was in my 20s. I was 24 years old.
So you've always had this business entrepreneurship gene in your system.
Yes, I opened up my first restaurant at 20.
Were your parents in the restaurant business?
No.
So where does passion for cooking come from?
Must be in the genes.
Just in the genes, huh? Now, what's your descent? You're
Swiss Italian?
Swiss Italian, which are some great chefs. The first restaurant I ever worked in was for a Swiss chef, and he was amazing in Durango, Colorado, of all places. But this guy was enough for me to be around to catch the passion of cooking and food, and just a great influence. So you got that Swiss Italian background. Nobody in your family was a chef or a cook. Did your mom cook?
No.
No? So how did you get into cooking?
Well, food just to me was everything.
Yeah.
I just thought working at a restaurant and was just fantastic, and just seeing all the different food and all the things that they do with it. And
yeah. So did you work in a
immediately
restaurant?
Attracted.
Did you work in a restaurant like when you were a teenager?
Yeah, I started when I was like 14.
14, okay.
So I've been doing it for like 39 years, 38 years.
It's just what you do, right?
Yeah.
It's you. It's who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, so you're in the Seattle area. You opened your first restaurant when how old did you say, 22?
20.
20. Wow. Amazing. So tell us about that a little bit.
Well, that was down at Long Acres, the racetrack there in South Center, Tukwila area, South Seattle, the racetrack. And it was a breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
More of a diner type place, or was it fancy?
Yeah. We did the kind of the regular breakfast. We had an Italian flair to the breakfast, but we also had the 10-egg omelet. If you could eat it, nobody could do it.
Nobody could do it, huh?
They tried, but then lunch and dinner were Italian, and pizza and.
So, where did you learn to make pizza and pasta? I mean, how do you learn those things?
University hard knocks. I do have to admit I was not a natural, but. I just stuck with it, and I've worked for a lot of great chefs.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the first time that I really wanted to know about pizza, and it's all about the dough, getting
Yep.
started there. Well,
Yep.
there was a guy named Angelo who used to come into my restaurant at Long Acres. There, it's called the Hazelnut,
Huh.
and our motto was, "The lucky is he, the voyager who finds the hazelnut." But anyways, Angelo used to come in there, an older guy. He loved my food, and I asked him one time. He says, "Well, come on down, I'll show you
And he just showed you how to make pizza.
pizza dough."
Pizza
Yeah.
dough.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that's the key, isn't it? Good dough.
Well, it's certainly a good start.
Well, we were in here Saturday morning, and you were making about, I think, 15 pizzas that morning.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was it was fun to watch your work. I could have stayed there all day. And someday I want to come in here on an early Saturday and just be around you and watch you cook and learn.
That'd be fun.
It'd be a lot of fun. And I know you do cooking classes too, right?
Yes, dinners and cooking classes at people's houses.
I told you I'd jump around on the questions here.
Great. It's great.
So when you do a cooking class, like how many people are in your cooking class?
Usually it's 8 or more.
Okay.
But normally 8 to 10 to 12.
And then does that end with dinner? You eat what you cook?
Oh, absolutely. We just do a 5-course usually. Sometimes it's a 4-course, but 5-course. And we just, they pick the menu. And
that's cool.
And then we all sit down and eat.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So from Seattle, how did you end up here in Coeur d'Alene?
Well, in 1999, I got married to my lovely wife, Julie, and we were either going to move to California or Coeur d'Alene.
I think you picked the right place.
We did try California.
Where in California?
It was October 10th, and it was 113 degrees.
It doesn't get 113 here. It gets hot, but not 113.
Well, that was the desert, and then we moved up to Big Bear, and we loved it up there. It was kind of like Coeur d'Alene, big lake through the middle of town, the boulders and everything.
Yep.
But we ended up in Coeur d'Alene because we're traditional Catholic, and we go to the Latin Mass, and there's not a lot of them around, and this one here had the schools for the kids, and so girls' school, boys' school, the old Catholic.
So it was 99 that you moved here.
No, we moved here in 2001.
2001. Okay, so 99 is the first time I was here with our good friend Patrick Murphy, who we were just talking about. In fact, he just called me a few minutes, so his ears must be ringing. But his ears must be ringing about 4 or 5 times a day.
He's
so
a character.
But anyway, he brought me here in 99 when we designed his house on Stevens Point.
Yeah.
And that was my first time to Coeur d'Alene. And then by 2004, I bought a house here. And in the course of between whenever you started here, when did this restaurant start?
2004.
2004, so right when I moved here. So I was one of your first patrons then, because I used to come all the time, and I still come all the time. And I was just so happy to find a good Italian restaurant in Coeur d'Alene. I mean, I know I think Tony's on the lake over there on the other side, but this to me was it. I feel like when I come in here, Frank Sinatra might be around the corner, or Tony Bennett. Or The Sopranos, it just has that vibe, and I love that about this place. Not to mention the great food and your family and your personality is always so much fun. So you opened this in 2004, and tell me about that. I mean, from when you moved here, did you work for some restaurants here before?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about that a little bit.
So, first I worked at Beverly's.
Which is a great restaurant.
Yeah, and then I went over to Crickets and, just was like assistant general manager over there. And then I helped, redo the menu, work in the kitchen. And then I went up the street up here to the Market Cafe and opened that up. That was a brand new restaurant. And then I just took a break for a little while and did painting. Interior, exterior painting, faux finish, all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And then I opened up this restaurant. I was driving up the road, and I saw the sign for lease, and
Got the bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They looked at my resume, and they said, I think we want you in here.
That's awesome. So you opened this up in 2004, and was it the same size I see it today?
No.
It was a lot smaller?
Yeah, this room, the back room, the Madonna room was not here.
Yeah.
But we opened up with such a bang. We were one of the actual few fine dine restaurants in Coeur d'Alene in 2004, and we were just so busy.
Well, 2004 to 2008 were some phenomenal years around here. I mean, it was going like gangbusters. It was nuts. I mean, we were so busy, and I'm sure you were busy. And then 2008 came, and back to Crickets again, kind of a little bit, wasn't it? Did it slow down for you a lot or not?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we probably lost. I mean, we we lost a lot of customers because of
They-
what
they-
happened.
Yeah, they just left.
And then, we probably were down, 20%,
Yeah.
15%. That's all your profit. So, you kind of have to readjust and do things differently.
Pivot, right?
Now we're back up, but
Yeah, and then you got thrown the 2020 curveball that we've all been thrown,
oh boy.
right?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. But when you started this restaurant, I mean, has your menu changed over the years? I mean, are there things that you've kind of added, or it's been pretty consistent from what I remember?
Yes, I kind of believe if you do things well and you're busy, why reinvent the wheel?
Right.
We basically specialize in authentic Italian food. Our menu's huge.
Yeah.
We make small changes. We have everything from steaks to crab cakes to pasta dishes. And
I had the Chia
veal.
Pino Friday night, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. So, we don't make very many adjustments on our menu because we're doing well, and we just kind of specialize in top shelf organic food from scratch, authentic. I mean, we're basically in the 2%. Only 2% of restaurants will buy what we buy.
Right. So let's talk about the organic thing a little bit, because that was one of my questions. I mean, I know you have a real passion to that. You have your own greenhouse at your house, right?
Yes,
And some of the produce that you grow there actually ends up here in the restaurant.
absolutely.
Yeah. And then you source a lot of stuff from local farmers, and so it's pretty much a farm to table type place here, isn't it?
As much as we can.
Yeah, I mean, you
it
can't
is
get everything.
Idaho.
Right.
So we
It's a little barren in the wintertime, probably.
We still order
you're not
again.
roasting pine cones, But I mean, I love that you're connected with the people here. The produce, like your salads, are always just so phenomenal. They taste so fresh and so good. So tell me a little bit about your passion with that aspect of the ingredients of your cooking in your restaurant.
Well, I think I was always interested in quality no matter what before I even knew what organic was, because, sometimes you find out that there's two kinds of food, organic and conventional.
Right.
So when you tell people I eat organic food, they're like, oh, well, you're a hippie. But I first learned about it actually when I moved to California and went to those farmers markets, and I could not
Yep.
believe
How
what
good
I
it
was
was.
seeing and how wonderful. So I started buying food like that and got real interested in it. And well, to come out to find out, I mean, that's what real food is. That's the way it always was.
Yeah.
And, they're just, I don't eat processed foods.
Right.
And people always ask me, Angelo, how do you stay, in shape like that and thin as a chef? And I'm like, well, I just don't eat processed food.
Yeah,
So
it makes a big difference. Plus,
It's
you look
just-
so young. I mean, every time I must have heard 4 people in the restaurant Friday night. Angela, how do you look so young? You do. You never age.
yeah, well, probably red wine and,
Well, that's the excuse I use.
But-
It's not working so
yeah,
well for me.
super green food, but it does have to do with the
The
food
good
that I eat.
Yeah.
And I've been eating that way for 20 years. And that's the food I serve in the restaurant, sustainable, organic food. And I try to get all my wine that I can like that too.
Right, right. So, what do you love growing in your greenhouse? What are some of the things you love to produce in there?
Well, it depends on what time of year, but
Mhm.
generally, obviously tomatoes and hot peppers and lettuces and things like that. We make hot pepper sauce a lot and different kinds, and that's really fun. And
Yeah,
but I grow just really a lot of things, but those are primarily the most things that I grow in
Yeah.
there and outside. I have a lot of outside boxes and raised beds outside as well. And I have a green thumb. I love flowers and all.
so you
that,
love planting it, you love tending
it.
to it, you love harvesting it, you love the whole process.
Yeah, and I've got chickens in my backyard.
Oh, there you
so
go.
I have 14 chickens in my backyard, and
So like your tiramisu and your pasta.
absolutely, the eggs are so important
It
for
makes
desserts.
such a difference, doesn't it?
I can't eat a regular egg from the store. It just doesn't. It's like has no.
It's night and day. I'm fortunate. I don't have any chickens in my patio home in Phoenix, but I've got clients that do have chickens, and they bring me eggs all the time. What's amazing to me is, I want to take the carton of eggs that they give me and put them in the fridge, and they go, no, don't put them in the fridge. Just leave them on the counter. I go, what? She says, yeah, you can leave them on the counter for like 2 weeks or something like that.
Sure.
And it's amazing, and they're perfect. I mean, they're the most perfect, beautiful color. Like when I make pasta with the fresh eggs as opposed to the store-bought eggs, that pasta is like off the charts.
Totally.
Yeah, it makes a big
And that's
difference.
what Europe does too. They don't refrigerate their eggs.
Right. So the restaurant business is not an easy business, is it?
No, it's not. It's not for everyone.
You work hard, don't you?
I do.
So, like, give me an idea of your typical day. I mean, today you're off. I heard you placing orders in the kitchen. I mean, let's face it. If you own a business, is there such a thing as a day off?
Not really. No.
You're
It's always on
thinking-
your mind.
It's always on your mind, right?
Yeah.
But I know you like to go golf, right?
Sure.
I mean, is that one of your? What's your favorite? What's your ways to get away from hard work? I mean, how do you decompress?
Well, I really like basketball, but that's in the winter time is when I play basketball.
Yep.
Competitively for the Parks and Rec. But
Yep.
I love golf, and I've got a nice pontoon boat. Like to take the kids out and friends and everything, and just relax.
Just relax, right? You were on the boat yesterday, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
It looked like a beautiful day yesterday. It's
Yeah.
a little chilly for us Arizonans, but
Yeah.
for you Idaho guys, it was probably pretty nice.
Well, the in-laws were in, so we took them out no matter what. But
Yep.
this week's going to be almost 80 degrees all week, so we'll be going out.
There you go. It's so beautiful here in the fall. I just think it's one of the prettiest times. I mean, there's not as many people, and I don't know, the colors are great, and something that we just don't really experience in Phoenix too much is fall weather. I think we get a week of fall maybe in late November, early December, and it's different. But speaking of hard work, I mean, the restaurant business is hard work. I've done my share of work in the restaurant business, and I know how hard it is. I mean, there have been times where you have thought to yourself, my God, why am I doing this? This is so hard. But you got your whole family works in the business. I mean, your wife, Julie, your daughters, your son's opening his own restaurant, right?
Yes, we're going to open up a pizza place here just, probably in the next couple months.
How old is he?
He's 18. He just graduated.
So he's following Dad's footsteps.
He is. He's pretty mature.
Yeah.
He's a pretty smart kid.
That's cool.
But
they all know about hard work.
Yeah, and they certainly are finding out, and it's certainly a blessing to have them now. It really makes life a little easier.
Yeah.
With all 5 of us working here.
Yeah, that does help a lot. So when you do face the tough times, what's your go-to? I mean, what do you do to overcome the doubts or the struggles or the things that we all face in life? What's your go-to? Well,
thank goodness, that God is good to me, and it's Thanksgiving, and that suffering, is just part of life, and it's meritorious.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's wonderful to be able to look at it like that.
Right. So it doesn't stop you.
Absolutely not.
I'm kind
doesn't mean you're not going to go through the motions.
Right. Yeah, sometimes I guess what I try to do is when I'm in those moments, I do think of the Lord, and I do think that, okay, here's my struggle. This is my cross to bear right now, and I got to just do it. I got to just push through and get to the other side. And it's like a switch goes off in my head, and it's just like, okay, man, let's fight, let's go, let's power up. And that's what usually helps me get through it. But it's the motivation of God that really helps me make it through some of those times.
Well, you know what Job said, life on earth is a continual warfare. So, it's our ticket to heaven.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it?
If you use it correctly.
If you use it correctly. Yeah, so I think that's one of the things I've always admired of you. I mean, I get your texts and I get some of your emails, and you're always very passionate and committed to the Lord and doing the right things in life. And I've always admired that about you. I always feel this wonderful spirit when I come into your restaurant. I mean, not to mention all the beautiful religious art you've got on the walls and stuff, but I just always feel your family. I feel the love of God. It's just very comforting to me when I come here, not to mention the great food and wine that just add to that whole vibe, but that's a whole nother story. But so I know that part is really important to you. Your family is very, very important to you, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, you've really done a lot to raise your children in a certain way, and they all went to Catholic school, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yep.
Traditional.
Have anyone gotten to college anywhere? Or?
Yes. Philomena's in college now.
Okay.
Anthony is probably going to go to the University of Hard Knocks like me.
Okay, that's what I did. It worked out well for me.
Well, he's got the professor right here.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I can show him anything he needs to know.
And that's one thing I always talk about too. Is I really do not believe a college education is right for everybody. I agree. I think the whole college thing has become such a ripoff to so many kids and families. I mean, the amount of debt it puts some of these families into for a degree, sometimes these degrees are just totally worthless.
In beer pong.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there is absolutely, I agree, and I'm glad you brought that up because my son is pretty smart, and we talked about it, and I let him make his decision. If you're going to school to be an engineer or you're going to do this or something, absolutely.
Right.
But, you know, most kids don't know what they want. And,
Right.
and Anthony didn't even know if he actually wanted to be in the restaurant business. He actually didn't.
Right.
But then he got into the kitchen, and he started cooking, and he loves it.
Yeah.
And when we had this COVID thing going on, you know, we went into just to-go food. And we had one of the largest menus in town to begin with.
Yep.
And then we added on brick oven pizza as well. So he got a whole tutorial
There you go.
on the pizzas. And I had people coming in saying, hey, I'm from Chicago. That's the best pizza I ever had in my life. And so, you know, that was nice. And that was fun, you know, doing that. We made it.
You turn it into a positive.
It's the only thing I had a chance to do.
You have to do. You have to. You have to always find the positive. I mean, it's not going to change the situation. You're not going to change the situation by bitching and complaining about it. Right. You got to roll up your sleeves and figure out how to make it work. And it sounds like that's what you guys did. Did you guys have to shut down completely?
No.
You never did?
No. We just went in stages, and the first stage was just to-go food, and then the second stage was open back up, but at a limited capacity.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it all worked out wonderful.
Yeah. So are you still doing the takeout operation?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember one of our favorite meals one time. I had a bunch of people in town when we were living here, and I called you guys and said, you know, I had not had time to cook all day. You guys whipped up the most amazing dinner that we picked up. I can't remember it all. It was pasta and, I mean, just great stuff. I mean, I was like, we should just do this every night. So I'd weigh probably 400 pounds, but it was fantastic. So I'm glad you're doing takeout because that is awesome. So this weekend, you invited us over to your vineyard, or it's a vineyard that you're involved in.
Pasquale Mastantuano's vineyard.
Talk about that a little bit. That was fabulous. So I bet you here in the morning you were making all the pizzas for the people that were harvesting the grapes, and then they did the grape crushing right there at the vineyard. And you were so generous to invite Tiffany and my daughter Tiffany and I to come out and just enjoy the morning. It was fabulous. What a great morning. It
was a nice day. Always nice to be like that. So I met Pasquale about 10 years ago, and he was a master winemaker from Paso Robles, 33 years, and a lot of gold medals. And I met him at a cater out. A large part of my business is catering, too.
Yep.
And so I asked him if he would teach me how to make wine because I really wanted to learn how to make wine from somebody who really knew how to make wine. So he said, sure. So we started this making wine, and we were, bringing the grapes up from California, and then we got into our own grapes, and we grow our own grapes here in Idaho.
Wow.
Leon Milad, it's a hybrid Cabernet Merlot Syrah.
Okay.
And so we crush it, we press it, we age it in the oak barrels, and we bottle it. We absolutely do everything. It's absolutely 100% organic.
It's beautiful.
And I was just there. I was just there before I came here, and we were doing the pH and
it's a science, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It's half steps to get it right.
Yeah.
Steps and half steps and quarter steps, and if you don't do that right, then you don't get good wine.
Right. No, your wine is fantastic, and thank you for a box of bottles over there. I see.
Prego.
You got my name on it. That's
Prego,
awesome.
Prego.
So, so tell me about the winemaking. I mean, is it something you just want to continue doing? Is it something that you do as a hobby? I mean, what's your interest in that?
Well, I think it's just, like the restaurant business, what got me into cooking. I absolutely just love it when you can do something like this. And so I would like to open up a winery someday, or at least more like an event center where I can have some vines and make some wine and have some fun with it, and then have an event center too. So I think down the road that might be something I will be doing.
I love that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Oh, it is.
I mean, I could see a pizza oven out there, and
and when I do the cooking classes and dinners over at people's house, I usually always bring my wine as complimentary. You know, and that's really a large part of it. That people are like, are you kidding me? You make your own wine too?
Yeah,
so
it's a story.
It's really fun.
Yeah, I know. I do a lot of that same thing. It's like I don't do it for the profit initially or at that moment. The profit comes in a circular way, doesn't it? It's like it comes in ways you would never even have imagined by giving that free bottle of wine or cooking that dinner for somebody. That's not the reason I do it. It does take care of itself. People go, well, how are you making money? I said, I'm not doing it for the money. The money takes care of itself. Don't worry. As long as I do it and I do it right, it all works out.
It's just like tithing.
It's the same thing, right? That's right. No, it's exactly right.
The Italians got that figured out too.
Yeah, totally. So I know we're here in northern Idaho, and it's a pretty conservative corner of the country. I heard some great stories during some of the unrest that was happening around the rest of the country, and I heard of some attempts to ransack downtown Coeur d'Alene. I guess it didn't go over so well from some of the stories I heard. Downtown Coeur d'Alene looks picture perfect. It looks like nothing happened. So anyway, I know you're a pretty conservative guy. This is a conservative corner of the world. So what's your thoughts on what's happening this year, and where do you think we are headed?
Well,
I want to hear Angelo's version of the world here.
Yes. Well, what's going on is a change in power, and what we have is, the old power going out and the new power coming in. And so Donald Trump and the Patriots have a plan, and they're executing it. And Hollywood and the mainstream media and the deep state swamp creatures don't like it.
They don't like it.
And so the economy is going to be better than ever before. We are going into a new era of carefully planned by the Patriots. And Donald Trump has always been a patriot. And I love my president, and I thank God for him, because if we did not have him, we would really be in a bad position right now. I am not worried about it. I just pray and do as best as I can to help whoever I can make everything
Yep, no, I hear you. And
great again.
Just for the record, I always tell people, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm an American. And I use my brain and what I think is right to pick the right person every time, okay?
Couldn't have said it better.
So to me, it's like I care less what party they're in, because I think both parties have spent us into oblivion, to be honest with you, right? So
absolutely.
I think you can point the finger at both parties for things that they've done right and things that they've done wrong. And so for me, it's like I just want to pick the person that I think represents where I want the country to go from my perspective in my corner of the world. And I think I tend to be conservative for sure. I mean, I'll guarantee, but I do worry about the earth. I think you're a farmer. I mean, you grow things. You care about the earth. It's not like you don't care about the earth. I mean, we all care about the same things. I think a lot of it is finding the common ground, and that's where I get so frustrated in that it's one way or the highway, and no one can just say, okay, look, your way might not be perfect, my way may not be perfect, but can we find the middle ground that gets us both to where we want to go? That's what I'd like to see happen. I don't know if that's I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that's possible?
Well, I don't know. All I know is that, the poison is the mainstream media, and people can't, they watch the news. We have to stop. We have to start, like you say, we have to, get a second opinion and stop believing what the news media says.
I miss Walter Cronkite.
There you go.
Right? Right? I mean, I know I'm aging myself. People my younger audience like, who in the hell's Walter Cronkite? But we all remember him growing up. And, he just stated the facts. He didn't offer an opinion. He just said, this is what happened today. And you were able to formulate your own opinion of where things were going and what was happening. And I hate that about both sides of the media. I mean, I see it from both extremes. I'm like, come on, you guys, that's not right either,
Well, responsible journalism isn't allowed anymore.
It's not allowed.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I took journalism in high school, and I remember all the things that we were taught, and I watch journalism now or read it or whatever, and that's not what we were taught. It's not at all, And so to me, it's like, I don't know what it's hard I hear it from everybody. No one knows what the truth is anymore. And I think that's part of the problem with the world, is there's so much confusion and so much fake news, as you put it, from all sides, that no one really knows what is real anymore. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, well, for some people, that's the case. Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see where this all shakes out, isn't it?
Yes.
So what's next for Angelo? Where are you going next? What you got this idea for the vineyard. What do you see yourself doing in 10, 15 years?
Probably head to Arizona in the winter.
You're going to come visit me, right?
Yes.
Do some cooking in my kitchen. No, I want to do that. Another thing I want to do is I want to get you on our Italy tour someday.
Okay, I'll be going the next time.
Right?
For sure. Yes.
I mean, we're shooting for 2021 now, and we'll be finishing at Lake Como, just a few miles for the Swiss border. And I'll make sure I take you to Switzerland because it's only 30 minutes away from where we stay. And so we would have you would love it, man. We've got this house, this old farmhouse with this great grill, and I could just imagine you. I mean, it would be a dream for me to sit there and watch you cook in that environment.
That would be fun.
Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be real fun.
Yep. Well, keep up the great work here. How do we find you? How do we get a hold of you?
AngelosRistorante.net or Angelo's Catering CDA. I'm on Facebook.
Yep.
Yeah.
We find you.
You'll find me.
You do a good job.
Yeah.
Well, keep up the great work. Keep up the great cooking. Keep up the great attitude. And most of all, keep up your great faith, my friend.
Thank you very much.
All right. Love you.
Okay. Love you too.
I want to say a big thank you to my good friends at Stockett Tile and Granite Company, where your project is our priority. I want to thank the Stockett team along with so many others who contributed to the success of our fabulous demonstration kitchen in our new Candelaria design office expansion. You will have to check out our online video cooking classes, and our kitchen is amazing. I've had the pleasure of working with the Stockett team for nearly 40 years on many spectacular projects, and trust me, they are the epitome of excellence when it comes to tile, marble, and granite work, bar none. Their skill and customer service is impeccable, and the bottom line is they are just good people. I have traveled with, dined with, and just had good times, both personally and professionally, with Dave Stockett and his lovely wife, Becky, and they are the best. When it comes to your next tile and stone project, make sure Stockett Tile and Granite is a part of your team. Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed our podcast. We encourage you to write a review, screenshot it, and share it with your friends. Please instant message it to me and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We thank you for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights to inspiring living next week.